Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that Fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that Fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin, our melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin, 'cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that Fly Nubian money, boss talk, only we stack it up.
Welcome to Fly Nubian Money. It is Friday. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for the weekend. Listen, we're going to talk about something today that's very interesting. We seem to talk about AI a lot, but y'all, AI is here to stay. So we're going to talk to you about what's going on in Florida and a couple of other things. But first, we want you to know that we are here to help you master your mindset and maximize your money. And I'm your host today, Lala singing international real estate agent. And today's conversation is in several of us' wheelhouses. A Florida man reportedly sold his home in just 5 days using ChatGPT without a real estate agent. Now, AI helped him to write the listing, organize the strategy, and even assist with negotiations. But that might sound very impressive, but it also raises a lot of real questions. And it's more than just what has happened in this industry. If AI can do this, what does that mean for the real estate industry and every other industry built on expertise? Now, I've been in the business since 2006. I know Dominique has been in here for a very long time as well. So I'm pretty sure she'll share with you how long she's there. But let's introduce the queens. We have Yolanda Spivey. I always want to say Yolanda Spicy because she's always so spicy. She's the insurance broker to the stars. We have Dominique Morgan. She's a realtor, RN, and coach. We have Deborah Williams. Deborah will win. And you got me, little old Lala singing international real estate agent. Ladies, we talk about AI not a lot. And seems like it is a constant thing that we're talking about. So when you first heard of this, was this surprising to you? Because this is on a different level. This is dealing with shmoney. It's dealing with shmoney. And the way they pitched it is that this man saved realtor fees, which is, they said, average 3%, right? We're not allowed to price point things in real estate, but they said about 3%. So Deborah, what was your first thought when you heard about this?
My first thought was like, wow, like you cut out everybody, the attorneys, you cut out the realtors on both sides, the buyer and the seller. And I'm like, wow, is this legal? Because I know in some states it may not fly. So it's just amazing that he was able to do that. Maybe Florida is one of those states, but I know in New York, they want all the coins. Everybody's going to get paid around that table.
It also sets a precedence because once somebody does it, then somebody else says they're going to do it and as well. But we also are having issues with other industries such as Zillow. I ain't never been a Zillow chick. They always can kiss the backside. And when they first came out, I was one of the first people said, this is not good. This is not good. And everybody was like, yeah, they gonna help us. No, this is not good. And I also feel that this isn't good, but that's my personal opinion. Yolanda, what are your thoughts about it?
I told people this was going to happen 2 years ago. I put on my Facebook page, AI is about to take 65% of the jobs in the United States. And people thought I was a freaking fool. And I was looking at everything, how everything was going from the trucking industry. Now, a little surprising that it touched the real estate industry to this magnitude, but I'm not surprised. I told people this was going to happen.
I think a lot of us saw it on the wall because we feed it. We feed
Yeah.
AI. The more we feed it, the more it educates itself. Now, Dominique, I left you last for a reason because you and I are in this field, and I want to know how you feel about it. What is the first that you thought of? What state are you in?
I'm in Illinois, the Chicagoland
You're
area.
in Chicago. I'm in Florida and California.
Okay.
So I'm in the state that it happened in. So what are your thoughts about?
So my initial thoughts, I feel like they create this mass hysteria. So I get what everybody's saying, AI is taking over, but this is nothing new. They're just blaming AI. So what it's called is for sale by owner. This is nothing that's new. People do this all the time, but there's a small percentage of people that do this. Yes, we have AI, but realistically, how many people do you think are going to try to really navigate this process by themselves? They may start it. They may start using ChatGPT. They may, go in there using AI trying to do it. But they're 9 times out of 10, when they realize how complex a real estate transaction is, they're not going to stay on the path long. And a lot of people, you can convert a for sale by owner person, because it is so complex. I think that they create mass hysteria. They're going to take all the jobs. They're going to take tasks. They're not going to take careers. And there are going to be some industries that are going to be enhanced by AI. And I believe real estate is one of those industries that is going to help automate, that's going to help, organize, put systems in place and help you generate leads. It's not going to take away a real estate agent's job. They need humans. They need that emotion. They need somebody to navigate, the process. So I just think that these type of things just create this mass hysteria to make people think like, oh my God, they're going to take all the jobs. They're not. It's going to be hard to really replace a real estate agent.
It really is, because we've all been through the scare in this industry about everything. But we see that we're still here. This is still a thriving industry. In fact, we know how to pivot. I am teaching real estate agents how to use AI in their marketing. So both sides of the coin are using AI to up their game. So let's also not get it twisted that this gentleman ended up having to use a broker for some tasks. So the headlines are always something that are a little misleading. So we want to always take things with a grain of salt. Now, what I am going to say to you before we get into the video is, and I would love to know, we got already chats going. Family, keep it coming, because y'all already talking over there, and I can't wait to get to your comments. Would you sell a house with AI and AI only? I want to know that. Put that in the chat. You also have to remember that AI is not faultless. Did you hear what I said? When you go into all of the platforms, they say, you really shouldn't depend on us. You need to be going and checking your facts. And I know for a fact, when I've been in ChatGPT several times, you can tell when it goes off the rails, and you go, wait a minute. And I've literally said, stop lying. Give me the truth, because that ain't the truth. And it comes back, oh, I'm sorry, Lala, I was tripping. And then it starts giving me the good information. I'm going to tie it into one more thing, and then we're going to watch this video. The bombing that happened in Israel was a fault of AI, outdated AI, because they thought that was a military installation, and it was many, many years ago. And now it's a school. So do you see how you also, it's good for a lot of things, but you cannot necessarily depend on it for absolutely everything. Always take it with a grain of salt. And that's just my 2 cents about it. And I'm gonna get up off my soapbox about it. So let's go ahead and check into a video. Then I'm gonna see what our family is saying in the chat, and we're gonna get back into this conversation. Them gremlins is out today, ain't they?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, if we can't get that going, we're going to go back into the conversation. I'm going to read some of the comments. Y'all, the planets are out of whack. And not only that, that is a true thing. So Deborah says, good afternoon. And she's on here with us too. Then we have Jasmine. She says she loves the intro. Y'all, the intro was fire. We have Walterine. Good afternoon, my royal family. And then Dennis says AI can build wealth in certain areas. Yes, it can. I totally agree with that. Asa says, that sounds very scary and dangerous. And Dennis says, organically, AI is not the go-to for everything. That is so true. Guys, I'm going to step back because people are not only using it for business, but they are also, a lot of people are depending on this for relationships. We know that, right? People are really falling in love with their ChatGPTs. And they're naming them and they're calling them boyfriends and they're doing all sorts of things. So this is a very different type of world we are living in. So are we good for the video now?
Robert Levine decided it was finally time to sell. But instead of contacting a real estate agent, he turned to the power of the prompt, ChatGPT.
I really wanted to challenge myself to use AI for the entire journey. Within the first 72 hours, we had 5 offers on the home already.
This guy basically did everything himself. Sure, he probably spent hours doing it, but he saved thousands of dollars in commission. If he only had to pay his agent alone, that was 3%. But around 80% of real estate deals, the seller has to pay for both agents' commissions, so that would have been 6% all on him. With a little bit of elbow grease and AI, he did it all himself. This is why I created House Genie. On House Genie,
This is why he's created House Genie. How much you won't bet that AI is involved in House Genie? Come on, speak to me, Dominique. Do you see this as an opportunity for people who don't want to pay the fees to do this on their own, especially when he's talking about, you obviously know he was getting ready to pitch something that he has built on AI. Is this something that we do need to guard ourselves against? And what should we be looking for?
So I don't think it's nothing that we have to guard ourselves against. The people that are committed to going that path are going to go that path, which they've done before. And it's a very small percentage of people that do it. And so I don't think that we have to guard ourselves. Let people that want to do it, do it. They have an option. They had an option before AI and they were doing it before AI. But I don't think we need to get caught in, they're going to take my job and everybody's going to do it. Majority of the people with all the information and knowledge available to them, they will not go the path of doing it themselves, because once they get in it, like I said, as we both know, it's a very complex process, and each transaction is different, right? So you may do this transaction today. It could be all the same terms, but it's going to be some type of different dynamic. And so you have to think about all those things that go into it. So I still don't think with AI, majority of the people are going to try to go that route.
It is a very emotional thing to go through. And I think we need to touch on that point. When emotions get involved in a transaction, you need a human touch. AI is not going to do that. I can tell you right now, I have been able to negotiate with people because of the human touch. I've stood in between husbands and wives who argued over picking a house. I don't see AI doing that. I can see AI being a tool, but it cannot do absolutely everything. But as we're seeing more and more of this, Deborah, would you trust AI to guide you through something that is a major financial transaction like this, or anything that it does? Not just the house, but what about stocks, bonds?
I would use AI as a tool, as it was created for us to use it for, to guide me into making decisions, not to be the final decision. Because like they're putting their disclaimer, Chat, Claude, all of the AIs are subject to make mistakes. They are being fed by humans. This information is being fed by humans to spit back out to us. So we make mistakes, so why would they not, the AIs, why wouldn't they make mistakes? So I would use it as a research tool more so than me just leaning on it as my all in all, or my, this is word is bond type of thing. No. We're going to use it as a tool. It's like a digital encyclopedia, and that's it. I ain't
You know,
naming
it's
it.
interesting that you would bring that up because even in the real estate industry, Dominique and I both know as well, we always tell people you should never just go with the first person. You should never go with the first price. You should always shop around on everything that you do on this type of transaction. So like you just said, like, you know, you can't just depend on one single thing. This opens up a whole nother worms for legality as well. But I'd like to know from you, Yolanda, you know, we're talking real estate. Real estate goes hand in hand with insurance.
It does.
So do you think, Yolanda, that this is going to be touching your industry anytime soon? And how do you see it affecting what you do?
It has already touched my industry, like straight up. Something you said, the personal touch is what people want. Something that AI cannot give. So in my industry, for instance, people, they always use they use AI for, you know, to try to find the best policies and things like that for them. But there is nothing like talking to a very well established, knowledgeable broker that can help guide you through the process. And that's where I come in. So I have so many people, especially in the business world, who will come to me and say, "Oh my goodness, I went through so such and such and such, and I was trying to find insurance online and I couldn't find it." And as soon as they talk to me, I know what they need. I know where to go within 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. That personal touch. So yes, I agree with you and Dominique. AI cannot replace what we bring to the table. It just cannot.
I think that AI, even now, and it's been around for a while now, we've been talking about it quite a bit. We see it in everything that we do, but it's still the shiny new object.
It is.
It's still
We're
the
feeding
shiny
the
new object.
AI. We are feeding the AI information so that it can program itself better over time. Everybody's feeding the AI information. The other day, I'm sorry I cut you off, Lala.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The other day, I was looking up at the stars and I'm like, oh my God, that's such a beautiful star. So I started asking ChatGPT things about the star. And it's giving me information. And then at the very end is ask, do you want to see how the stars look in your location at this very moment? I said, hell yeah. I was like, yeah. And then it was, you know, what you call it? It kept like twirling because it couldn't find the information. And I asked, I said, so do you have the information? We're trying to pull it for you, you know, whatever. It could not find that information. That was just the bottom line. All right. So I asked ChatGPT, why would you say you can give me something and you can't provide? And it came back, you know, I'm sorry. You're correct. I'm sorry. You know, whatever. So yeah, ChatGPT, AI, whatever, it can't give you everything. We are programming it.
And then we be talking about why can't you? Why can't you give me the information? What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
You're supposed to know everything.
We expect her to give us everything, but no, it's not our end all be all.
It's not. It's really not. Now, listen, we actually have another agent in our chat too. Aya says, as a real estate agent in Georgia, I would use it according to what areas can benefit my clients. You see, like, told you, it's on two sides to this coin, baby, because the course that I just created, please, it is all AI. It's teaching agents how to use it, right? Yeah. But she said I would also use it as a seller buyer as long as it's perfected for me. And so you have someone here who also has experience, who knows better than to just put something in and then show up a listing presentation. I'm pretty sure that Aya does not just do that and don't do her homework and bring her personal touch to the appointments that she have. So we also have, Aya also says, human interactions is something many people would not like to lose in many transactions, not just focusing on money. And Elaine says, people may be better off using the AI tool than doing buyer sales without it because of the research aspect. It's definitely a risk. You know, I've always told my clients, do your research. Check me. If you need to check me, check me. And if you have any questions, then you come to me and we have that conversation. Heck, I'll even take you to the a local coffee shop so we can sit down and have that conversation. AI doesn't do that, right? So we still have to be very vigilant about the things that we use. Now, let's face it. Okay, I want to ask you, Dominique, you know, when I first got into real estate in 2006, even this wasn't a big deal. This little thing called this personal computer in our hand, that phone, like you still had to go use maps literally to go and find properties. These were the things that we had. We didn't have the GPS on the phone. We had the kind that you had to pay $700 for and put it on your dash and she would talk to you. So as you have been in this industry, what are some of the previous technologies that people kind of blew out of proportion that you see have now been incorporated and are still useful, but we still need the humans?
So I know a lot of states have what you call, like, they have the MLS, or the, you know, the place where they add all the data. When I started, we had that, but when you do older listings, a lot of those listings, they still had them, like you had to manually put them places. They did not have a database for all the information to go, right? And then when you think about even emails and different things like that, I've had all those things, but before you didn't have all those things, and you didn't have social media. Like, people now can go on social media, they can show a house, and now they have a bunch of people. It's not even their listing, it's somebody else's listing, and they get a bunch of followers. So there are things. One thing that is inevitable is change, right? And so we just have to get comfortable with things changing. At the end of the day, there's going to be something else that comes down the line again. And so we just have to be comfortable. And I just so happen to be in an industry, two industries that change all the time. I'm a nurse. I'm talking about change happens every other day, right? And I'm also a realtor. So I've just become accustomed to change. So I use AI on a regular basis. You know, I train my AI. You have to correct it when it's wrong. Hey, that's the wrong information. This is actually what the taxes are. I build on my AI. I feed it information and knowledge. I also use it to position myself as a top producing real estate agent in my market, so that when people go to Google and they're looking your name up, or they're going to these different things, they can find me. Also, these buyers and sellers are knowledgeable because of all the access that they have. So before, you know, back in the day, the buyers and sellers, the clients didn't necessarily have this information. Now they have this information. And so you got to come with your A game, because they gonna be telling you a bunch of stuff. And so these things help sharpen who we are as professionals. The people that are going to lose out are the people that are not getting on board. The people that are not going to survive are the people that are not getting on board. You have to get on board. You have to understand that change is inevitable, and you have to move with the times in order for you to be successful.
I agree. I totally agree. I love what Dennis just said. He said, you know, it's kind of an assistant per se. Yeah, it is. And there's nothing wrong with getting an assistant. But when you have clients that come to you with the knowledge that they have, then you have to depend on your agent to tell you, oh, no, that's not quite true. Let's clear up the misconception that was given to you. Or, yes, correct. That was correct. You know, you have to have the human element in it. And let's be honest, also, Florida's a special kind of breed. I don't like it, but Florida is a different beast than the rest of the world. I honestly, when it gets into things like Los Angeles, California, that's a very, very tricky thing to deal with. And you have to consider the fact that you're also dealing with different types of things in different states. But we do have another video, and I want to check that out so we can get back into this conversation. Baby, y'all are really popping in these comments. I'm just loving this. So we're going to watch this, and then we're going to get back into the conversation.
Video about the guy using ChatGPT to sell his house in Florida. And here are a few things I really want to let everyone know that they did not highlight in the segment. Number one is he actually did use a broker. So he actually used a broker to put it on the MLS. Number two, he was an attorney, and he's very, very, very familiar with contract law. So he has a lot of advantage over the average home buyer and home seller. And number three is, do you really think that ChatGPT can take away real estate agents? I mean, seriously, do you think the human touch of having, that human touch, building that relationship could really take away service providers. I really want to hear from you guys. I really want to know your take on this. And something else I just found out, because I'm a Florida broker and I have access to these things, he sold his house for under the price that he listed. And honestly, that's what usually happens when a seller sells his house, or sell their house or her house without using an actual real estate advisor. So he did use a broker, but he used a broker to just like put it on the MLS for him. Because if you don't put your house on the MLS and you really try to sell your house with ChatGPT, and you really try to sell your house for sell by owner, you miss out on a lot. So he did use the broker to actually put it on the MLS, but he really did not use a broker to actually really help him with the transaction, which could have saved him money. What I noticed when it comes to people selling their house on their own, which has been done for decades, it's called for sale by owner. What I noticed with for sale by owners is that they actually lose about 10 to 20% of their actual equity. And he actually did. And they're not talking about that in the segment. They're making it this big thing, like, oh my goodness, real estate agents are gonna be extinct or whatever. But come on, guys, like, who really wants to sell their house on their own?
There's a lot of aspects to it. One of the things that we are not discussing, and I'm so glad that she brought that up, he still had to use the broker to put this on the multiple listing service. And he's an attorney, so he already has contract law. Let's point that out. But, most people don't think about this part of real estate. They just think you're buying and selling, but there's a whole bunch of list in between there, baby. It is title, it is escrow, it is inspections, it is appraisals, it is, and the average person cannot just basically use AI for that. I'm pretty sure that they have tools to do that, but you definitely want to depend on that. This man ended up selling his home for less than what it was worth. Was that okay with him? Obviously it was, or else he wouldn't have done it. But that is true stats about when you are a FSBO, a for sale by owner. Typically, you do end up selling it a lot less than what you would get with an agent. So are you really saving money? I don't know. Pumpkin, as my nephew used to say. So Deborah, with this being said, and we know that there's a good balance, I want to be very fair here. I always like to toss out and be fun and have fun. Like, you ain't gonna do this, AI, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, this begs this question. The average person is not harnessing AI for anything. They're just using it for short-term, quick answers. Like, hey, what's the weather going to be? So what skills do you think that people need to stay valuable in this AI-driven economy?
That's a very good question, Lala. And I just had a conversation with someone at the library that I work at. I work in the computer room, and a lot of times they just want to hand you over their phones, hand me over their laptops to do all of the work for them. And I was like, come on, people, y'all gonna listen. You got to get right or you're going to get left, because you got to know this technology. And don't be afraid of it. You can't break it. They have the 3 letters on the keyboard, ESC, escape. There's a way of escape. There's a way to be able to get that, whatever you had on the screen back. And you got to use the AI again as a tool to help you. You don't want to, it's not a crutch. It's not a fix all. It is just to help guide you through what you need to learn. Technology is not big and bad. It is your friend. It's going to take place whether you want it to take place or not. Technology is moving forward without us. And in our community, again, you got to get right before you get left. And I don't want that for us. I want us to be not just buying an iPhone because it's the newest and the latest thing to have and it's the nicest color, but know how it works. Know how to use it. Use all the tools, use all the apps. Don't just say, oh, they downloaded this for me and I don't know. I mean, they are literally willing to give me their phones with all their banking information. People transfer money from people's phones when they do those things. Like, are you that trusting of a person because you don't want to learn how to use the technology? Come on, let's open our minds up. Let's receive this knowledge. It's good stuff. And it's exciting. It's very exciting.
It is
I'm a
exciting.
geek,
Very
so,
exciting.
yeah.
I'm shocked and I'm shooketh that you said that people just be handing you their phone, because baby, I'm protected against this phone. I don't even lay it down. I mean, I got password, I got everything else on here. Fingerprint, you ain't getting in there without me. And there's my private information. So the shock and shooketh that I have about people just handing you your phone. Oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yolanda, what other industries do you think that AI will be massively impacting in the near future?
Well, already is impacting fast food, straight up. The restaurant industry. There are restaurants where you don't even interact with a waiter. They have robots coming over to give you your food. And even like when we go to like certain places, we order through kiosks, and sometimes robots prepare your food for you. So, I mean, yeah, fast food. Then I also saw the stocks. I know some of my friends are part of this club, this stock club, where they have AI tell them what to do each day at a certain time, and they are making money off of this sucker. Like I opted not to do it because I was like, that's a little bit too Bitcoiny for me. Remember when Bitcoin first came out, everybody was like, I don't know. Okay. But
I don't know though.
I got my Bitcoin. It served me very well. I will say that. Okay. But with this thing, I don't know. So I see in the stock industry, but I think it's going to touch it's going to try to touch almost every industry that we see out there, even the trades. Most people say, oh, the trades are safe, the plumbing and the electrical. We don't know that yet. Somebody somewhere is going to create something that is going to like 3D print a toilet bowl. I don't know. Something. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Remember the 3D printers? People started laughing about that. People are really building some pretty cool things with 3D printers.
They are.
It's pretty cool. Technology is cool. It is, but we always have to use it in a wise way. We have some stats, Lala likes stats. So let's look at some of the stats that we have back in, and then we'll get back into the conversation. Lala stumbling over her words. Sorry, y'all. She need a nap. I think we have stats. Okay, here we go. About 90% of home sellers use a real estate agent when selling their home wisely. Homes sold without an agent typically sell for lower prices on average, and that's historically known. About 1 in 6 workers say they are already using AI in some part of their job. And more than half of workers say that they are concerned about how AI will impact their future income and job security. Now, with those stats being said, I do want to also bring up some other things that we do know and we are actually seeing is places like Amazon have let go of whole departments, saying that AI has replaced those departments. But what you don't hear in the background is in 3-4 months after they find out that that's not quite working for them, they end up hiring people back. So those are the stories that are not being told in the regular traditional media that you also need to pay attention to. I always tell you guys, do not fall for the good old okie doke where we in the Wizard of Oz and the Oz is about to pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Go behind that curtain. Go behind the curtain to see what's going on so that you are educated. Dominique, how is AI actually disrupting traditional industries? And what does that mean for income, job security, and opportunity? Because we are hearing that a lot of companies are replacing people with AI.
So I think a lot of the jobs that they're going to be replacing with AI will be like customer service and administrative tasks. I think for things like real estate agent or even healthcare, AI is actually going to enhance it and make it more efficient, right? And the people that are going to be successful, again, are the ones that are going to get on board and not resist the change. They're going to learn and understand AI. They're going to learn how they can be impactful, and them knowing AI can be beneficial to them in terms of, their area of expertise. And those are going to be the people that pivot and be able to be successful and actually go to another level. So you got to think about a business. If a business can take your job, right? And they can use one person to do 6 people's jobs, and AI is involved, and AI, you're probably going to be safe. But if you feel like I don't want to learn it and I'm afraid and I'm gonna step away, then those are gonna be the people that are gonna suffer. And so we have to just change our mindset. It's just like when AOL came around and the internet and all these things started happening. Everybody was scared, but look where we are now. I find AI as being extremely beneficial. It is a great tool to use. No, you cannot rely on it 100%. Like I said, you have to correct it, right? If you have to look at it, correct it, and change it, right? Hey, this is incorrect. These are actually current real estate wise. These are current comps in the area. The ones you gave me are outdated. So you're training this AI system to give you the information. Hey, I work with buyers and sellers all the time. Create a generic template, right? So that you're not always doing the same thing and you're just plugging and playing. These are ways for you to be more efficient and for you to move forward. A company is going to, yes, some people are going to lose their jobs. Certain industries are going to lose their jobs. Think about healthcare. How do you think people are not going to need doctors and nurses at all? You think robots are going to be able to replace those people? They're not. And so I think that, again, it creates mass hysteria by saying, hey, I did this whole transaction without getting all the bits and pieces. He's a whole attorney. So again, he understands the man for real estate. He understands writing contracts. Some attorneys even have access to the MLS. So they don't need a real estate agent to do certain things. But even with him being an attorney, he still sold his home for less. So don't get caught in the mass hysteria, right? Figure it out for yourself. There's different tools and things like that will be beneficial. There are tons of free courses. Just try it and see how it does for you.
I think we should, but here's one thing that no one is also talking about. So let's throw this into the mix. Lala gonna throw that cog in the wheel. Now, everyone here, and majority of our viewers, are in a certain age bracket where we grew up in the 70s or 80s, and we remember drinking hot water at the hose, and we got the computers and we got the phones, and then everything we growing up and doing that nature. Also, there is a generation ahead of us. When I think of AI and what to be very careful of, I also think of our seniors and how it affects them, because they're not even grasping Facebook. So when it comes to disinformation and things of that nature, they don't know how to do the research. Deborah, if you work in the library system, people trust you with their phones. And I bet you it's probably a lot of the time some of the older generation. How do you see that this affects them as we're moving so fast?
Unfortunately, I see a lot of the older generation getting scammed. They may have said yes to a phone call that allowed them to be able to get into their bank accounts because they clicked on something in their phones. So we deal with that a lot in the library. Also, most documents now have to be submitted electronically or through, apps. So that's when they come in and they're like, here, just take my phone. And it's not just the older generation, Lala. I was really surprised that I encounter younger people, younger than myself, even my children's ages, that just don't, like you said, they just want to doom scroll all day on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and not use their brains to figure out how an app works, how to use an app. So that really concerns me. And a lot of times they come in frustrated, they don't want to deal with it. And I said, no, you're going to do this. You're going to learn something today. I'm not going to do it for you, because then you'll still be at a loss when you got to do it again. And at our library, thank God we're moving up in technology. You can actually print from your phone just by scanning a QR code. So you don't necessarily have to get on a computer to bring it up. If you have the document saved on your phone, scan the QR code, put your library card number in, and send it I'll tell you what printer to pick, and you send it right to that printer and print your pages out. So I make them do the steps, because I don't want us to be left behind, and I want to help my people, and that's my goal in the technology industry, is to help my people create some apps for seniors, create some programs for seniors that is user friendly, and to get them out there and let them know you don't have to be afraid of technology. We got you. Our community got you.
I think that is very important for us to teach those in our community and our tribes as well. My mother-in-law is 89 years old, and we teach her something almost every week, and it blows her mind, but she does try. And she also knows to say, wait a minute, this one doesn't look right. She'll ask us before she does something, but she's 89 and she's not afraid to embrace new technology. But on the flip side, I have a very good friend, one of my very best friends, who's an instructor. She's a college instructor, and it's a trade that she's doing, and I don't want to give too much of that. But what she is finding is the students that are now enrolling want to just push a button to have it do everything. So when she has the online consultations, they don't want to hear anything that she's instructing them to do. They rather want to take the shortcut. So, Yolanda, with that being said, we have the plus of educating our community. We have the minus of those who are absolutely depending on just wanting to push a button. How do we mirror those two where it will work successfully for our community?
I really think it just comes down to education. That's it. Education. We need to start teaching these things in school to our kids, because we can't just have this out here in the world and not prepare them for it in the future. That would be a disservice to our whole entire community. Okay, and if school is not teaching it, teach it in your churches or your community spaces, wherever. Someone in the community should hold a seminar on how to, take advantage of technology for the children in the community so that they can be further prepared. And also for the older adults too. I just went to an AI, and I was just doing it to support my friends. But one of my friends, they're older, they're in their 60s, okay? And they were holding an AI, how to utilize AI type of Zoom webinar. And I sat in on it and I said, this is some good stuff, because people who don't know anything about this will be able to learn something from it. So it's just a matter of us educating. We are responsible for educating our young and our old.
I agree. I mean, there is a balance. We just know we need to know how to skip in. You remember when we used to do double dutch, y'all, and you skip in and you double dutch them. There is a double dutch sweet spot. We can definitely find it. Walter Green said that, and I love this comment. Humans may burn out, but they don't blow up.
Turn to the
Computers
power
go
of
down,
the prompt.
crash, and can be hacked. And can be hacked. Humans will never be totally extinct. Now, I love that comment. Now we're ready for the video. So let's check this video out and get back into this conversation. I'm loving it. I think. These stars. Woo, these stars today. These stars today.
Well, we are in a retrograde. You know that, right?
Yes, and it gets me every day on time. Effie says, I investigate whatever info I hear about. I'm not a trusting
State agent,
person.
turned to the power of the prompt. ChatGPT.
Somebody sent me a video of a guy that used ChatGPT for the entire process of selling their home. And this particular client of mine was like, are you worried that more people are going to do this? And I told her absolutely not. First things first, kudos to that man for figuring out how to use ChatGPT for everything, the marketing, getting it on the market, everything. That's incredible, and kudos to him. But the average person is not going to do that. The average person doesn't want to have to do all of that. That's why they hire a real estate agent on the sell side. Now, on the buyer side, I would never recommend to use AI because you really need that human touch, especially on the buyer side, because half of my job as a buyer's agent is being a therapist. And while people think you can use ChatGPT for therapy, AI is not the best way to calm your fears, your nerves, answer questions that you may have, and just give you a human touch. So do I think that more people may start using ChatGPT to sell their home? Sure. But do I think that's going to eliminate real estate agents? I absolutely 100% do not. But what do you think? Let's talk about it in the comments.
There is a plus and there's a minus to absolutely everything that we do. And like I said, this is just a shiny object for right now. 5 years down the road, this is not even probably going to be a conversation. Literally, it will be, this is a part of our life. We will find a good balance. But right now, the world is scrambling to be number one. I do want to bring in one element, and I want to hear everyone on our panels about this, because I don't talk about AI without talking about its environmental issues that it causes us. There are many, many of our communities, the Black communities, the brown communities, that are being impacted by all of these AI data centers. What people are not realizing is it sucks up a lot of water, and we already don't have enough water for the earth. They're not being told that's what's actually being built. Under backhand deals are being done where these data centers are being built. They also put out noise pollution, where there's a constant hum that some people can hear. You know how you guys talk, we hear about dogs can hear a certain level of whistle. The same thing with humans. They're doing that as well. And, we have to take care of planet Earth. We cannot just continue to always be on the shiny object. I want to ask you, Dominique, what are you hearing about the environmental impacts on our world with all of this AI going on?
So I've heard a few of the things that you have already mentioned. I don't know, when it comes to those things, like everything creates an environmental issue. If you use a paper plate, they're cutting down trees. Like, there's always been something to stop something, or something to, again, create this mass hysteria. I do believe that there are negative benefits, or negative things related to using AI. But again, we got landfills full of trash. It's always something negative related to what we're doing. And so I don't think that should stop us. I think that we should think about these things, right? So before you use a plate, maybe, a paper plate, maybe use a regular plate. I think it's the same concept. You have to analyze, you got to think about it. You have to do your research and then move forward, because there's going to always be something that's going to scare you or stop you from wanting to do something, because now this is an issue. So now we went from the environmental thing to they're going to take jobs. It's just creating this mass hysteria. And I keep saying it, but it's like everything creates this mass hysteria that kind of just keeps us stuck and has us in fear. And so I just think that we have to just look at things differently and analyze it in totality.
Like I just told y'all earlier today, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. There is a lot to it. But we are hearing more and more about these effects on people physically. And let's face it, usually 50 years down the road, we hear lawsuits because of the environmental issues. Deborah, where do you see this part impacting our communities with the AI pollution that this creates?
I'm definitely concerned about our children, grandchildren, in my case, great grandson. How is the environment going to be left for them? We do need to be good stewards over what we have, and if pulling back from using these apps and going back to the library to take out a book, if that's going to help save the planet, let's do that. Let's do things that's going to save the planet, that's going to give us longevity here, not take away for what's happening in the moment.
I agree. I totally agree. Now, Yolanda, I would like to hear your maybe concerns and what you have learned about the environmental impact.
Well, I'm not afraid because I think that some humans are going to fight back against it. We see already a lot of people are returning back to the earth. I'm one of them, okay, who are going to start producing farms and things like that and getting back to nature. So we'll probably have a split earth where we'll have people on this side that's more into the technology, and then we'll have people on the other side that's more into the nature. And maybe the people on the other side are not going to want anything too technological on their side that's going to hurt them physically or hurt the environment physically. There has to be a balance. There's no way that we can let this overtake us. That's the end of human existence in that case. Everybody going to die. So I really think that there will be a balance. And also, Lala, I wanted to tell you, you can get water out of thin air. Water is all around us. It's in our atmosphere. We will never run out. They scare us into thinking we're going to run out of water. We will never run out of water. We are, 75% water? The earth is 75% water. Water is all around us, even in our atmosphere.
And when you think about that, what do you think dehumidifiers are? It's pulling water straight out of the air. Many people in humid areas do use those type of tools as well. You could do it yourself for drinking water as well.
Right.
I do still get concerned about that. Listen, ladies, this has been an absolutely wonderful conversation. We've had a lot of people talking to us today. Walterine says you can't have empathy without a heart. Choose wisely.
Right.
Dennis said complete pandemonium. Effie says, I heard that a lot of those AI centers are going to cause the consumer's electricity to go up. And I don't know if this is true or not. Well, we could say that about this made up war that we've got going on too. That's going to make everything go up. So I can't think we can blame it all on AI on that. Listen, ladies, before we get into our final thoughts, I'm going to wind it down just a little bit so you can get your final thoughts together. I do want to stress that this is a Women's History Month, International Women's History Month. And I want to bring to your attention Lisa Galopster. I probably said that wrong. I should have looked that up. She's a tech innovator who played a key role in developing internet video and helped create the GIF. Baby, I love me some GIFs. I'll use me a gift at least 20 times a day, which changed about how people communicate online. She has also led major digital initiatives at companies like Hulu and BET, showing how Black women have helped shape the technology that we use every single day. Now, I don't know about y'all. You notice I said GIF, but if you go in and you create a graphic on Midjourney, it gives you the option to save it as a GIF. This lady right here, y'all, she is the one who did that for us. So we applaud her today. If you don't know who she is, look her up and educate yourself, and not just educate yourself, but pass it along. All right. Dominique, I'm going to start with you. What is your final thoughts and where can we find you online?
So my final thought is when we're thinking about AI, we need to look at it as an opportunity and, shift with the times and what's going on. So the people that will struggle will be the people that ignore it, and the people that will excel and potentially can make, more money are the people that, get into it and learn it and move forward with it. So again, I'm Dominique Morgan. I am the co-founder of the Whitmore Group, where we exist to educate, empower, and equip individuals and businesses to build wealth through real estate. We can help you purchase throughout the United States. And if you're looking to find me, I can be found on all social media platforms at the Whitmore Group. And you can go to our website at thewhitmoregroup.com.
All right, mute button, help me out. Love it. Make sure that you go and check her out. And you can use AI to do some research, but you're going to need an expert So go on over to the whitmoregroup.com and do your thing. I bet you're going to have a whole much more time talking to her than you are with your AI system. Deborah, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
This has been a great conversation today, ladies. My final thought is have fun with AI. Learn from AI. Don't be afraid of AI. Don't be afraid of technology. Get all the learning that you can get until you leave this earth and give it back. Give back. Just don't use it to just suck up and be selfish with it and, be in the back room with it. Share the AI, share the technology, share the love. My name is Deborah E. Williams. Deborah will win 11 on YouTube. You can find me here at Fly Nubian Money having cultural conversations.
Love it. And we love having you, Deborah. And I'm telling you, you be telling us stuff. I'm still not going to be handing my phone to nobody. But you did say something that made me have to laugh about Yolanda, because you said share the love. But that made me think of Michael Jackson's song, Share the World. And Michael Jackson is hush, isn't it? So Yolanda, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Simona, you already know, girl. You already know, girl. Okay, so anyway, my final thoughts is this. If you don't if you don't get with the times, you're going to be left behind. Okay, in anything that we do. So as Black people, I love us because we take the littlest things and we develop it and make it better. So I foresee us using AI, our children using AI, and just making this world just a better place. No pun intended with the Michael Jackson song, okay, Heal the World. But I just see them making it just a better place with the use of AI. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But yes, you can reach me at mwhitney.com. If you need some insurance, I insure everything, guys. Anything that you need, we can insure. You can also reach me across all social media platforms. And of course, if you need your pinky toe insured, we got you. Give us a call. All right. Yeah.
Give us a call. Cool. My sister-in-laws are from New York too. I love it. Cool. Make sure that you call Yolanda. You would love to talk to her too, because we have fun with her here. So if you have any curiosity about insurance, please make sure that you do reach out to her as well. Now, here's what I gotta say. Listen, go touch grass. Everything is not AI. We got to get back to touching grass and feeling the wind on our face and sitting outside with ice cream and letting it melt in our hands and sitting in front of the ocean and listening to the birds. AI is there for whenever you're ready, but you must take care of yourself first, because there's only one you. Balance is the key. Now listen, I mentioned earlier that I have a course that will actually teach you to harness AI for photographs as well as video to help build your business. The things that you could do now with just a little bit of education can help you be seen. So if you're interested in that, sign up for my newsletter at laurakey.net. The course is complete and the emails will be going out next week. It's very affordable. This is your opportunity to learn something new and to build your business. So go to laurakey.net. Listen, I always like to say thank you to all of our viewers, because y'all make this a big old family affair. It's a family affair. Every week, every day, Monday through Friday, we got Deborah, we got Effie, we got Walterine, we've got Dennis, we've got Ivy. You're the first. We've seen you in a while. We've got Effie. We've got so many people here, Dr. Vibe, and we love it because that means we family. You're part of our world. Without you, we really and truly would not have a show. Now, if you don't want to miss any shows, all you have to do is text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. And then if you do miss a show, take us on that jog while you're touching grass and eating your ice cream in your hand, sitting in front of the ocean. You can find us on Spotify. So please go on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating so other people can find us as well. And if you're new to us, you can listen to all of the episodes that we have done. We're coming up on 2 years, baby. The toddler age We ain't gonna throw tantrums. We're gonna still continue to throw you good information. But listen, at the end of the day, AI is not going anywhere. So the question is not whether things are changing, it's whether you're changing with it or without it. Y'all have a beautiful weekend. It's Friday. Don't go shopping anywhere that you're not supposed to be going shopping. We still doing Blackout Friday. We'll see you Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Be blessed. Have a great weekend.